You face the boss of Blades.
Yo, this is Boss of Blades here, and today we are going through the Mythic League 7 finals between Velo and stixxe, and this is game 1. So, let's see. stixxe is going first. They have Crav, they have double Grudge match. They're looking like they're deciding whether they want to keep the Crav and maybe a Grudge match. So, yeah, they're just keeping one Grudge match. They get a Kothipede and a Worm's Wake. Not a particularly strong hand for going first. So they drew a Drana. And yeah, it's just passed back. And Velo dropping a Birds here. Back to stixxe. Getting a Grudge match. Fortunately, just no plays here. He's going to pass back again. Velo dropping a Tusker on essentially an open board. stixxe drawing a Channeler here, which could do Channeler stuff, but he's just going to pop up the Worm's Wake and wind up taking 4 damage on turn 3 here. Yep. And then, let's see, Velo is also going to drop an Agitators, which will flip at the end of turn. And then stixxe will get his 5/5 Worm. So passing back to stixxe here. He's got Dark Confidant, and he's going to go ahead and Grudge match to uptrade against the Flip Gatstaff. And axing up his Dark Confidant, swinging with the Worm to see if Velo will maybe block here. And Velo will jump it with the Birds. And that's all for stixxe. Back to Velo. Velo just swinging in with his 4/3 Tusker here. stixxe is just going to take it. And dropping a Channeler, which does get buffed to a 3/3. And then fighting with his open world tracker, the 3/3 into the Dark Confidant, which will also give him a board to his hand, which he will then play, having a pretty commanding early board lead here. stixxe drawing a Death Shadow here, which is pretty good pick here. And deciding if he wants to Grudge match, maybe uptrade for one of the 3/2s. Yep, he's going to Grudge up, trade up for one of the 3/2s. And swinging in with the 6/1 Worm versus the 3/2, which will trade. Passing back to Velo, who's going to go ahead and drop a Ranger to take out the Channeler for free here. stixxe drawing a Goo, and decidedly going for a Kothipede here, and immediately going for the card draw. Getting a Treetop Lookout and a Curse Bear. Velo dropping a pretty early Craterhoof Behemoth here to swing with his 6/5 and his 7/6. Taking 6 and going to 9. Velo's Lance going to trigger here. Getting a Cranial and a Drain Blood. So you can go ahead and drop a 2-mana Death Shadow. trying to land some blockers here. And looking like he's just going to drop a 5/5 goo. So he can maybe trade into the Tusker. Velo's on Gaia's Cradle, so that is going to trigger and put him up to 9 mana for the turn. Just immediately swinging in with both creatures, getting blocked by Stixxe's board here. Putting the Death Shadow to 8 health. Then Velo's going to go ahead and drop a Pressure Worms, which are 8/8s because of the Craterhoof Behemoth, which actually does make the Death Shadow inefficient for being able to attack or block into this particular board. Drawing a Veil Cursed, probably a turn or so late for what he would like. Best he could do at this point is just try and put down some chump blockers. He has a Treetop. He throw down Drana, Cranial, Curse Bearer. He's doing the Curse Bearer. He's got the Treetop, and he has the Drana. Axing up on the Drana to see if maybe he can try and mount some kind of offensive using his flyer here. Velo's land will put him to 9 mana. Just full swinging with his 8/8 Crush Worms. Stixxe, fortunately, forced to basically trade with his Death Shadow here. And blocking the Treetop versus the 3/3. And taking 8, going to 1 health. Then there is a Daybreak from Velo to take out the Drana, as well as a Hermit. Just putting out a very commanding board. Taking out the Drana with a Daybreak and getting back even more health with his Werewolf here. So Drain Blood, dropping the Cranial, dropping the Veil Curse, but unfortunately he is 1 blocker short from death here. So that looks like it's going to be Velo's win for game 1. And yep, Stixxe out. Going to go ahead and block. That's going to end game 1. Velo winning game 1 here versus Stixxe in the Mythic League 7 finals. Now we're going to get ready for game 2. And Stixxe is going second here. He has double Dead-onator, putting 1 away, keeping a Channeler and a Veil Curse, and drawing a Grudge match. Very strong going second hand here. And Velo dropping a turn 1 Sundancer. And Stixxe responding with a 3/3 Channeler. Velo dropping his tech here, 2-handed Goblin, which is usually very strong against Garruk with all of the creatures they like to make at a 1 health. Stixxe dropping a Dead-onator, which does not actually equally trade for either of Velo's creatures at the moment. And Velo dropping just a simple turn 3 Hermit onto the board. Stixxe deciding to Grudge match. Looks like to take out the Hermit. Seems a good idea. Using a 2-cost removal spell to take out a 3-drop that can gain battle potential health. And also playing down a Curse Bearer here. Deciding whether he wants to axe or not, but looking like he's going to do a post-combat. And Velo trading his 2-handed goblin with the Chandler here, and chumping with the sheep. That means Velo is probably going to be in trouble. Stixxe just axes Curse Bearer, turning into his 5/3 Trampler for 2. Seems balanced. And Velo going for, of course, a flip and a gas staff. Going up to 7 mana on his turn. Stixxe slamming down a Drana, axing up the Drana, and looking like he's just passing back here. Trying to go up to a pretty good Veil Cursed Predator play here. And Velo dropping a Predator once again to target the Drana. Stixxe drawing a Crav, and having a Death Shadow in hand, he's just going to use Crav against his face. Attacking with his Dead-onator to see if Velo is going to block here. And he's going to block with the 4/3. Putting Stixxe to 17 health and axing up his Crav to a 9/6. And of course, Curse Bearer will go up to a 6/4. Velo dropping just a ridiculously strong here. Turn 6, Craterhoof Behemoth, full swinging with his board to essentially force Stixxe into blocking effectively and taking 5 from the Craterhoof. But Stixxe has some pretty good options here. He just slammed down Death Shadow. He could do a Ranger. Ranger would deny his opponent from getting to 8 mana because of the guy's Cradle. And looks like that's what he is going to do here. Axing up the Daybreak, which is, of course, a pretty interesting idea, to be honest, because you get to do 6 damage to a creature, which normally Daybreak does 5. So this is an aspect that we didn't really particularly consider when running Daybreak or not in Garruk. Velo dropping himself a 2/3 birds, as well as a 5/4 Warbear. And unfortunately for Velo, that full board is about to get cleared with a Veil Cursed play here. Velo getting Treetops, in case he had like a Worm's Wake here or something, and taking 8 to the face. Not being able to land any creatures still on board, so if he had some more 8-drops in hand, they are locked out of his hand. There is a Centaur Sage for Velo dropping a Warbear here to draw a card. Velo is about to be in some big trouble because Stixxe just got a second Death Shadow from his land. And for draw, he got the Wild Speakers, so that allows Stixxe to drop double Death Shadow, taking out the Warbear for 3 mana straight, no extra damage with the Wild Speakers, and hitting for 13 damage, putting Velo to 4. Velo dropping himself a Daybreak Ranger here against his opponent's Daybreak Ranger, but looking like he does not have any other creatures, so that is going to be game here. And Velo conceding the match to Stixxe. stixxe was able to take a board state and maintain it for most of the game this time, as well as being able to drop double Death Shadows for free, which would spell a big nightmare for a deck like Domri that wants to try and take out the opponent as fast as possible. Death Shadow being a major component for taking down players' ability to do that. And now we're going to get to Game 3 for the Mythic League 7 Finals. Velo versus stixxe. stixxe taking the previous game by dropping multiple Death Shadows and being able to maintain the board, pressure his opponent with Veil Cursed. Opening a Grudge match, a Drana, a Curse Bearer, and a Veil Cursed. Deciding that he may want to keep this without doing a mulligan, and that is what he will do. Going second in this particular matchup is good because you get more options for Death Shadow. Velo dropping up birds. And stixxe looking like he's just going to want to slam down a turn 1 Curse Bearer. Why not? You can go turn 1 Curse Bearer, turn 2 Grudge match, turn 3 Drana, maybe Silent Strike, and even go into like a Veil Curse. Velo dropping a Sundancer, and then just flipping it. Not exactly what stixxe wants to see here, but he is going to Grudge match to hit the birds. And essentially take a free trade and become a 4/5, which does block the Sundancer extremely well here. And Velo is just going to pass the turn back, pretty much indicating he likely has a Worm's Wake. stixxe going to attack here. Velo doesn't really have a good block, so he is just going to take the 4. And stixxe will axe up his Drana. And there is the Worm's Wake for Velo. Velo just using his gem that he got from birds to slam down a turn 4 Auric. And attacking with both the Worm and the Auric. stixxe just taking the full 10 here. And drawing himself a Treetop. A lot of utility with Auric is just getting free werewolves to hand, which sometimes you just do not want to flip. You'd rather just continue to accrue card advantage that Auric does give you. Axing up the Curse Bearer here. Deciding if he wants to throw down maybe another Curse Bearer. Drana and Curse Bearer both attacking here. Likely the 4/3 Sundancer is going to block the Curse Bearer. Velo taking 2 damage in the process, as well as another 3 from Drana. Which, honestly, that seems kind of what stixxe wants here. He does have Silent Strike and he does have a Death Shadow. So if his opponent just attacks him for 10, he can just slam a Death Shadow, axe up his Death Shadow, and then next turn Silent Strike and axe it, and that would be enough damage to take Velo out here. So Velo is probably actually in trouble here. He just does not realize it. stixxe taking the full 10 to be able to give Death Shadow a free cost on turn 5 for stixxe here. And Tracker fighting the Worm versus the Drana, getting a interesting, dropping the 2/2 werewolf that he got from Auric that does have sneak. Stixxe is just going to go ahead and drop himself a Death Shadow. And unfortunately for Velo, that 2/2 as well as the 3/2 are going to be taken out by this Veil Cursed Predator, giving Stixxe more than enough blockers for being able to potentially deal with the Velo board. That does give Death Shadow the +2/+-1 from the Axe, putting it at 15 power. So even if Velo were to drop a Hermit and heal here, Silent Strike would still be game. Velo just attacking with the Auric only here. And yeah, Stixxe is just going to chomp it with a 3/3. He doesn't particularly want to care about any like tricks that Velo might have. And there is a Hermit from Velo, but that is sadly not going to be quite enough to help him, because Death Shadow with the Axe plus the Silent Strike is an even 18 damage. And Stixxe will have exact lethal on this turn 6. So Silent Strike plus the Axe, attacking for 18, and Stixxe will now win his first Mythic League tournament, taking the prize as our Mythic League 7 champion. Congratulations to you, Stixxe, and we will see you all in the next tournament.
I had to gas up, oppas fool me, so I put my mask on. Keep the two of me, gotta keep the 9 high. Flexing Louis V, yeah, keep my cash on. Sticking true to me, I never had to gas up. I'ma pop off, yeah, I said I'll pop off.